Ever seen the news say the government wasted billions while the country is drowning in debt? People panic. Anger explodes. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Almost every country on Earth is in debt. India, Germany, Switzerland, Qatar, even the richest nations. Japan owes twice the size of its economy. The U.S. owes over $36 trillion and counting. So the real question isn't why some countries have debt. It's why debt is normal at all, and whether it's actually a problem. Section 1. What is national debt? National debt is simply the money a central government owes. Just like people borrow when expenses exceed income, governments borrow when they spend more than they collect in taxes. But unlike you, governments don't borrow from one bank. They borrow from many sources, investors, institutions, even citizens. Important detail: national debt only includes federal or central government debt. It does not include state debt. And it does not include personal debt, like credit cards or mortgages. Section 2. Why don't countries just print money? If governments can print money, why borrow at all? Because unlimited printing destroys trust. When too much money floods the economy, prices explode, currencies collapse, and savings become worthless. That's called hyperinflation, and it already happened in Venezuela, Zimbabwe. Debt actually acts like a leash. It forces discipline. Interest exists for a reason. It limits reckless spending. Section 3. Why governments borrow. Governments borrow for 5 main reasons. First, budget deficits. Taxes don't always cover expenses like healthcare, education, and defense. Cut spending? People protest. Raise taxes? People protest. Borrowing becomes the easiest option. Second, growth. Roads, schools, hospitals, borrowing lets governments build now instead of waiting decades. Third, emergencies. Wars, pandemics, natural disasters. In 2020, the U.S. borrowed trillions to stop an economic collapse. Fourth, rolling old debt. New loans pay off old ones. As long as growth continues, the cycle survives. Fifth, economic control. Debt helps manage inflation, interest rates, and currency stability. Section 4. Who lends all this money? Governments borrow from 3 main sources. Domestic lenders, citizens, banks, pension funds buying government bonds. Foreign lenders, other countries and investors looking for safe returns. Institutions, World Bank, IMF, usually for weaker economies, often with strict conditions. And sometimes, central banks indirectly support the system by buying bonds. Section 5. Is debt bad? Can a country be debt-free? Debt isn't good or bad by default. Used wisely, it fuels growth. Used recklessly, it causes collapse. Too much debt means higher interest costs, lower trust, credit downgrades, and possible default like Sri Lanka. Can a country be 100% debt-free? Technically, yes. Practically, almost none are. And most don't want to be. No debt means no government bonds, which pensions and retirement funds depend on. Debt is a tool, a dangerous one, but necessary. So next time you hear, "Why does our country have so much debt?" remember this: debt isn't the enemy. Mismanagement is. And maybe the real question is, why some countries survive massive debt while others collapse. That's a story for another video. Subscribe to Econiqo, because understanding the system is the first step to escaping it.